I'm Daniel Marin. Welcome to 9 on 9. It's our new weekly interview show. We got 9 questions on a hot topic with a few follow-up questions here and there. And tonight we are talking jobs, jobs, jobs. And we are joined by Bianca Cervantes from Workforce Solutions Borderplex and Cindy Ramos Davidson, the CEO of the El Paso Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Got lots to get to this evening, so let's go ahead and get started. 9 on 9 starts right now. Bianca, Cindy, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We're talking jobs and employment today, crunching the numbers and looking at which industries had to let some staff go because of the pandemic and which ones are now looking for new recruits. Now, first off, I want to start with this labor market review the Borderplex did for January of 2021. And Bianca, it showed that we lost about 2,000 jobs from December to this past January. Can you talk about that? How did that happen?
So thanks for having us, Daniel. And I want to explain that this is not atypical in terms of job loss, because what we tend to see at the end of the year is spikes in hiring because of the holidays. You have seasonal jobs that are hiring, employers hiring a little bit more than usual, and that tends to taper off in the month of January. So a portion of that was attributed to that traditional trend. However, there were a few other jobs that were lost, and I'd say the other 50% that were definitely COVID related, with businesses closing down or sometimes even furloughs.
Cindy, the Hispanic Chamber in this same time period from December to January, did you all see any losses? What were your businesses telling you?
Our businesses are still trying to figure out what they're going to do when they grow up and get some revenue opportunities. They are still very much struggling in terms of how to create opportunity and bring employees back. Yes, there was continued job losses. You know, last year 27% of all businesses in El Paso closed down. They are still trying to come out of the jungle of COVID one step at a time.
So when people look at these numbers, and it could be a lot of numbers that they're hit with these reports, right? Job losses versus unemployment numbers, there's a big difference between the two. Can you explain that?
Yes, absolutely. So we get our information from the Texas Workforce Commission labor market data. And when we see the job loss data, it doesn't necessarily mean that every single one of those people that lost their jobs have applied for unemployment. When you say unemployment claimants or unemployment rate, we do attribute that to people that have actually lost their jobs and filed for a claim.
All right, I want to jump back to Cindy now. Cindy, your small business clients, how were they impacted by these numbers overall?
Well, you know, they're still trying to figure out how to hire back people and how many to hire back and when to hire back. There's still an awful lot of unknown. They do want to get back on their feet and they do want to hire people, but they want to do it right and safely. You know, some of the market, though, didn't get as affected in terms of hiring. And you're looking at transportation industry and construction industry, and some manufacturing areas did really well in terms of not only hiring people back, but hiring more people. The ones that were the most impacted were those that had total losses of any revenue, which is your entertainment and your venue and some of your retail, smaller mom and pop retail, some of your restaurants. Some of those places that are in the hospitality arena got really hit hard in terms of not being able to open up and be able to keep their employees, so they had to leave many of them behind. I would predict that by the end of the year, based on what is happening, they will get back to at least 75%. It's going to take till next year for many of them to get back to 100%. The day of doing the random shopper, where you walk into a mall and decide, oh, I don't want to buy anything, and oh, I'm going to buy something, that's really kind of gone. And that's part of that opportunity, I think, that exists for business to maybe take their concept and their idea to take it online and do something a little bit different.
Bianca, I see you nodding your head alongside what Cindy was saying. Is that what you all are seeing as well?
Yes, and I'm really glad she brought that up in terms of how businesses are going to try to come back to this normalcy. First of all, we are on this road to recovery, but do we really want to go back to normal? Although we were at the healthiest with unemployment pre-COVID in March of 2020, we want to come back out of this in a better situation with employers and employees thinking differently. And when Cindy talks about how different business will be, we want to expand the skill set of the individuals to where they could pivot, so that if they do come across a situation where they lose their job, let's say in restaurant, they can pivot and they can do marketing, or they can pivot and they can do project management. Secondly, for businesses, we have a program dedicated specifically to this, to integrate technology into their businesses. It's not your typical way of running business. Everybody's adjusting to this virtual way of doing things. So in order to do that, they need to start adopting digital solutions.
Cindy, that's something I've heard you talk about as well, kind of the shift to technology and just kind of rethinking, rebooting, if you will, the way you conduct your small business.
Correct. It is a whole new way of reinvigorating your company. Change is hard, but change is how you learn, and change is how you create possibilities when there are no possibilities. It has been gut-wrenching to watch many of these businesses that have been in business for years not being able to reopen because they haven't figured out how to retool because they were so dependent on people and their disposable income. And a lot of people haven't gone back to work, not because they don't want to, but for fact of need of children at home, elderly people they need to take care of at home. Some are afraid to come back, and let's face it, many people find it difficult to adapt to change, and changing in a new normal is difficult for some people, and that may hinder them for why they don't want to go back to work.
That's a great point. It's a very complicated moment for so many people. We have got to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to look at El Paso's unemployment rate, plus our local businesses reaping the benefits of that new round of COVID relief. This is 9 on 9. Thanks for being with us. And welcome back to 9 on 9. We are talking jobs today with Bianca Cervantes of Workforce Solutions Borderplex and Cindy Ramos Davidson from the El Paso Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Got another question for Cindy, and this was about the survey that you all at the Hispanic Chamber did recently when it came to your businesses. Now that Texas is open at 100%, you surveyed your businesses to see if they were comfortable going to 100% or what their plans were going to be, and you found that a lot of businesses, they're not ready to make that leap just yet.
That's correct. I was really surprised, but not really surprised. I kind of validated what they were going to do. 45% of them said they were not going to go to 100%. The other percentage said that they were going to stay at the 50%. Their bigger fear is to go up and come back would be more detrimental than what they were before. But beyond that, they were very concerned about protecting not only themselves, their employees, but their customers. And the other element that I was so proud of all our businesses, almost all of them said that when they get to that level, whether they go from 50 to 75 to 100, no mask, no entry. Just like no shirt, no service, that's what they've decided to do. So they really recognize what they must do going forward. The beauty of this whole process for them is they have felt a little window of opportunity that they have had a say in what they do with their business. So they can make the choice to go to 100%, 75, 60, 55%, and now they have a choice by which to do that. And they're going to try to figure out how to navigate themselves out of this COVID problem.
Cindy, are we seeing the effects of President Biden's newly passed $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan yet? I mean, it's authorizing another $7.25 billion for the Paycheck Protection Program, which of course offers loans to small businesses that were hit by the pandemic. Are local businesses tapping into any of that money yet?
Well, they're trying. There's a lot of opportunity out there. They're a little apprehensive about accessing some of it that's still available because they haven't finished paying off or doing what they needed to do with the first one. Many of them are starting to stop to think about how best they can revamp their company and go forward into another arena. They are trying to do everything they possibly can to get back to a level that creates that revenue stream for them to be able to pay the rent and their utilities and their employees. But I will tell you, entrepreneurship in America is amazing. Entrepreneurship in El Paso is very unique because they created it once, they can create it again. And it's interesting to watch the passion and commitment and yet the heartache all combined into one to create this new opportunity. They will get back. It's going to be slow. There are a lot of resources in the community to help them get there, but it will happen.
I want to look at the unemployment rate now, Bianca. It's at 8% here in El Paso with almost 30,000 people unemployed. Is this average? Is this high? Is it low? I would imagine it's higher right now.
To give you some context, Daniel, we were at the healthiest point of unemployment rate levels in March of 2020, right around the 3% range. Now, in April, that spiked up to the 14% range, which is more than 3 times the average healthy amount. Right now, we are at about 8%. We're not so much quite where we want to be, but we're definitely a lot further than where we were in April. And we are seeing in the data and the unemployment trends slowly tapering off, people getting off of unemployment and finding jobs. So we're not quite where we want to be, but where we do want to be is going beyond just the 3%. We want to improve the economy to go down to a 2%, to a 1%, and just see everybody employed.
And that is certainly the goal. Cindy, your businesses, how are they doing when it comes to hiring back people that they may have had to let go because of the pandemic? Are they bringing some people back yet? Are they still kind of holding off?
And it's interesting to notice we've been tracking it for the whole year in terms of what we were doing, and we served through counseling and training 3,418 businesses from January to December. They were able to create and retain 14,611 jobs in a COVID year. That's not bad, considering everything that's happening. Now that could have been doubled and tripled had we not had COVID, but that could have gone also the other direction. That's because they used a lot of the resources available at our organization through our technical assistance centers to try to help them guide and navigate through the marketplace. You know, businesses and business people have to learn how to make themselves more marketable as well when they're out there, and demonstrate that they have some soft skills. They have to be able to show that they built a strong media background, because social media, let's face it, that's where we're at. And a lot of companies are looking for that younger talent that can help them guide them through the web.
Yeah, certainly doesn't hurt to have a robust social media knowledge these days. Bianca, Workforce Solutions can help when it comes to the socials, right?
Yes, absolutely. We have the Ready to Work program. This program is dedicated not only to job readiness, job preparation with interview coaching, resume building, cover letter writing, and I mean an all-around assessment of making yourself super marketable, but we also have courses. And these are 5,000 chances to become a more marketable job candidate when it comes to marketing, social media, like Cindy said, project management, finance, and this is all free. It goes as far as to offering certifications for IT, for jobs that are in demand. Even during COVID, there are jobs that are growing, there are industries that are growing, obviously, because technology is taking over everything. So we highly recommend our Ready to Work program and our 5,000 free courses.
All right, well, don't go anywhere. When we come back, Cindy says she has 7 ways to make yourself instantly more marketable. This is 9 on 9 on KTSM 9 News. And welcome back to 9 on 9. Jobs, jobs, jobs is the topic this evening. Cindy, you were telling me that the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce has 7 ways to make yourself more marketable?
We do, 7 ways. Demonstrate your soft skills, gain management experience, build a strong presence on social media, become active in professional associations, like the Hispanic Chamber, acquire new skills, volunteer at charities in the local areas in your market, and boost your resume with numbers. You've got to show and demonstrate that you helped do something that increased the bottom line of wherever you worked before, because business is always going to be about the bottom line. You have to be able to use your soft skills, and we're seeing a lot of employers care more about those technical abilities. And what do I mean soft skills? Teamwork, problem solvers, conflict resolvers. Those are the kinds of things that employers are going to really need as they go forward and move forward into this new normal, as we call it. And then gaining management experience doesn't mean you have to walk into a job that you already have management experience. It's what did you do to manage projects within the businesses that you worked before. Shows the employer that you have that initiative. And that social media presence, keep it clean, keep it professional, but be out there so that they can know that you're always searching and looking for opportunities to build yourself, because if you're looking to build yourself, you'll be there to help them build their business.
Bianca, Cindy was mentioning include numbers in your resume. How do you work numbers into a resume?
When you're delivering a resume, you want to show how you possibly boosted capital, and you do want to talk about maybe you sold so many books to boost capital for a publishing company, and you got so much engagement for your marketing plan that got this many sales. So those types of things you do want to mention. You could actually also mention this in your cover letter to be a little bit more elaborate, but you do want to do very brief stints of what you've done, what you've accomplished, and like Cindy said, the bottom line, people want go-getters, people want winners, people want people that are going to make a difference in their business overall.
Do you have any tips, Bianca, when it comes to your social media presence to make yourself marketable? Cindy said obviously keep it clean, keep it professional. What else can you do to kind of boost that online presence?
So if you can definitely maintain your personality and online presence, and it's important that you ask this because it is part of our Ready to Work program. We have online workshops and live workshops of how to actually build a social media profile. So definitely keeping it clean, keeping it at least correct, politically correct. But if you don't want that many people to see it, put your profiles to private as well. So that way employers that are looking for you don't see everything about you, and only your close friends and your close family can see it.
All right, we're going to take one more quick break. We're going to come back with some final thoughts. You're watching 9 on 9 here on KTSM 9 News. Thank you for being with us. And welcome back to 9 on 9. We are talking jobs, and I do want to end on a note of optimism this evening. Cindy, some of the jobs still in demand right now, obviously looking for very specific skill sets, but there are other options.
In the construction industry, they're looking for the skilled labor, and there's a lot of opportunity there. But I will tell you, if anybody wants a job, there is an opportunity in El Paso. It depends on how committed you are to finding that job, and then when you do, making the commitment to that employer and understanding his or her employer expectations. It's all about creating your own success, because there are employers out there that will help you do that. You've got to be able to be aggressive, you've got to be confident, you've got to get in there and show that you have a can-do, will-do attitude, and that no is not part of your vocabulary, but how is.
And Bianca, Cindy just mentioned construction there, and you all have a program specifically aimed at finding construction jobs for women.
Yes, we actually do. One of our missions is to address gender inequality in the workforce, and we are trying to bring in more women into the male-dominated industries, and construction's one of them. But construction industry jobs also happen to be part of our hot jobs list, where we see high-paying wages, high availability, and a growing industry. So we have a program called Nailed It, and we're actually taking in applicants to train women to become handy women. There is a high demand for construction jobs, and we want to get women into those jobs.
Yeah, you were saying some of those jobs pay $40 an hour, so that is not too bad. Bianca Cervantes with Workforce Solutions Borderplex and Cindy Ramos Davidson with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you for being with us tonight. Don't forget, if you would like to see us go in depth on a certain topic, you can always just reach out to me on social media. I'm at KTSM Daniel Marin. This has been 9 on 9. We'll see you next time.